The White House wants to collaborate cybersecurity enforcement with other countries. Spear phishing remains the number one way hackers access networks. Why some car washes are refusing to wash Teslas. And the effect that Facebook has on teens. All that and more next on The Computer Doctor Show.
You're listening to The Computer Doctor Show, your source for technology subjects affecting your business and personal life during this new normal. Your host is an award-winning office technician and IT specialist, author, tutor, ethical hacker, and recent winner on localbest.com as the best computer shop in Tucson. Broadcasting live, here's Aaron Moss.
Hello, Tucson and the podcast world and the nerd world. Welcome to the Computer Doctor Show, your headquarters for scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. This is episode 64. I'm Aaron Moss, your host. Thanks for tuning in with us every Saturday at 2 p.m. We post all of our shows and bonus content on computerdoctorshow.com. Again, computerdoctorshow.com. Our open lines, 520-790-2040. Feel free to call in anytime with your comments and questions and even complaints we can answer. Co-hosting today is Rob from the cast of The Unscrewed Theater.
Good afternoon, Aaron. It's always good to be here.
All right. Thanks for coming back, sir. The Computer Doctor Show is sponsored by the expert technicians at Perfection Auto Works near Speedway in Craycroft. They have a free 26-point inspection, and I've actually used them myself. And when I have a really, really hard technical problem with my cars, I take them to Perfection Auto Works. So great folks down there. We're going to take a break of our regular news on this station and get into what's happening in the tech news space this week. So cybersecurity goes international. The White House wants to collaborate enforcement, and they want to do that with other countries because a lot of these threats are coming from other countries, and they're trying to maintain some peace. It's kind of hard to maintain peace with people that are allowing difficulties to run rampant, So we've had a rough year with ransomware attacks having disrupted hospitals, schools, police departments, fuel pipelines, of course, food suppliers and small businesses, delaying essential services and putting the lives and livelihoods of Americans at risk is what we were able to get from the White House website. But part of an executive order that was just posted just yesterday, do your part, be cyber smart is the tagline there. Do your part, be cyber smart. Local efforts include educating government workers to avoid ransomware, limiting online data, using complex passwords, and two-factor authentication. Now, those four things, we've been trying to tell people as much as possible. Don't try not to share too much about yourself online, especially with sources that you're not aware who they are, okay? Use complex passwords. You know what the most popular password?
Probably 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 or something like that. Yeah.
Or the word password. I ran into a lady, she says, she writes the sentence, I forgot.
Yeah.
And then I forgot and then the word password.
One place I work at, when you get a new device, their password is the first password they give you is always change it.
Change it.
Yeah. So I guess that's a common password where I work, at least, because I bet a lot of people still have that one in there. So.
Right. Now, if you're ever worried about security, always follow what the banks do, because what I've noticed is banks have to stay ahead of everyone when it comes to security. They have to. Because if anybody's going to defraud something, the first thing that someone's going to want to defraud is a bank.
Because that's where the money is.
That's where the money is. So the next part of what is the biggest target outside of banks would be people that use those banks, okay, or people that actually have lots of money or have something that can be lost. So part of this international collaboration with other countries, they want to establish some international rules of the road, so to speak, for all the nations. So a baseline set of rules that everyone agrees to play by, and that way, everything is kind of like monotone, so that nobody is going into areas that nobody else agrees that should be there. So and ultimately, the goal is to hold people responsible for that are threatening the security. And when your security is threatened, only bad things happen.
Yeah, you got to make sure that the right countries are on board, because otherwise the hackers will just end up in those countries and get hacked across borders and can't touch them.
Well, there are some countries, there's not Nigeria, China, Russia.
Yeah,
Those
the
are
usual suspects.
Those are the usual ones. But I was not able to see a list of what countries the collaboration is part of. But hopefully we might get some information on that, and we'll keep all of our listeners updated on that.
Prediction: those countries are not on the list. Spoiler alert.
Along with security, spear phishing still remains the number one way that cyber actors access networks. And spear phishing is emails. So that includes emails, text messages, and phone calls. So if you get a funny email that has a link, don't click the link. If you get a funny text message from somebody or from your bank or seemingly from some other service that you have, and it has a link inside the text message, don't tap that text message, because it's going to lead you someplace to line you up, ultimately trying to steal your login credentials by a website that looks real, but it's actually fake. So it's all based on social engineering. So it comes through, again, email, text message, or by way of phone call. I actually know some people, for that very reason, they do not answer any of their phone calls, because just about every single phone call they get is some sort of scam. Okay? But you don't have to do that. It's still safe to answer your phone. Just don't give out information to people that you just don't know. If your bank is calling them, if the bank is calling you, okay, go online, check your account, or call your bank directly. Don't let the bank call you, but you call your bank. Okay, and check to see if everything is okay with your account. Don't depend on these incoming connections, whether email, text, or phone call. Just don't do it. It's still the most powerful way. Also, the effect that Facebook has on teens. So this has been in the news pretty rough and thick this past couple of days. So Mark Zuckerberg, first of all, there was this report. There was this whistleblower that had made this allegation, and they believe that it was a former employee of Facebook. And what they said was they had this staggering statistic that said something to the effect of that young people that use Facebook, especially teenage girls, it gives them negative effects from just using that. From just using the service. And so as a result, they're reevaluating the services, especially those involving Instagram for kids and also Messenger for kids. So your standard Facebook and Instagram, and I would say across the board, 13 years old is kind of like the cutoff time. If you're younger than 13, you can't be using these services.
Well, you're not supposed to. I know some of my nieces were.
Now, there are actually processes in place so that there are AI programs inside of the social media that are able to detect if you are the age that you say that you are. There are some words and some key phrases that only people under the age of 13 are usually use. Okay, there's certain searches or certain things that they do. They're able to evaluate this on a very, very large scale. And if you are triggering too many things that you're under the age of 13, it's going to deactivate the account because it's being used by someone that's too young, according to their algorithm. So with that said, they do have the Facebook for kids, Instagram Messenger for kids, but they're reevaluating these services because they're starting to realize the emotional toll that it can have on these kids. So there's a level of anxiety, a level of depression, and emotional instability that was coming up in some of these reports. The emotional toll that it comes up with them. So it made especially teenage girls basically feel worse about themselves based on the things that they saw on this social media.
Well, likes and follows, you get virtually a quantitative measurement of your popularity in real time, updated.
And that's what it is. You know, if I post something, you know, and nobody sees it, nobody likes it, you know, it kind of makes you feel bad. Well, maybe I'm not leveling up to what the standard of. Okay.
I mean, I post obscure jokes, so if no one likes it, I just assume I'm so smart, no one else got the joke. But maybe that's just the egotistical way of looking at it, I guess.
But you know, when it comes to kids, that's different. See, fame and popularity, you know, that goes a lot farther. You know, it means more at that age. So when they try to do it and they don't get it, it's the same thing as, you know, as being popular in school, you know, or, you know, getting asked out to the prom or things like that. See, all that is now encompassed into the likes and into the subscribes. Okay. And sometimes some of these kids are doing some very outrageous things just to get a like, you know. And hence
we got the milk crate challenge.
We have all these different types of challenges. Throw, you know, the bucket water challenge, the ice challenge, all these other types of challenges. You know, it's all it's all just out of control. You know, that's just how it is. And we hope that things get better. You know, in the long run for a lot of these social media things that affect the kids. The report indicates that Facebook and Instagram are going to be making some changes, and there's also some upcoming meetings that they're going to be having with Congress of how they can make these things happen. So all of this information is a unique investigation. Again, it came by this unidentified whistleblower that they're calling him possibly a former Facebook employee that was coming on board. So anyway, we're about to, I think we're about to take our mid-commercial break in just a moment, and what we're gonna get more into this article about how some car washes that are no longer doing their Tesla car washes, and we can get some more of that after the break. We're also going to take care of some tech anniversaries. This is the Computer Doctor Show. Stay tuned.
They've landed! They're here! They're here!
This is WHOR Television, and we're live. I cannot believe what I see. The ship has landed. It is beyond words. Oh, wait, the door is opening. There's a creature coming out, walking down the steps. He is speaking with the representative. Let's listen. It's so quiet you can hear a pin drop.
Take us to your leader.
To be quite honest, you came at a really bad time.
Yes, timing is everything, and it's always a good time to have your car serviced at Perfection Auto Works, the leader in car repair, for over a quarter of a century. From our free 26-point inspection, we'll keep your car moving, along with the Earth's rotation. 323-8650 and PerfectionAutoWorks.com.
Ugly Goose Car Rental is new in Tucson, providing a low-cost auto rental alternative for just $100 per week. The only catch? The cars are ugly, but very safe and reliable to get you to work, school, shopping, and all your important appointments. To reserve your $100 a week car rental, call Ugly Goose Car Rental at 520-261-0439. Again, 520-261-0439.
Computer Doctor of Tucson is the best choice in desktop support in Tucson. They fix error messages, power and boot problems, install of software and hardware, and much more. You can come to them, or they can come to you, or even have a remote support session so they can fix your issues over the phone quickly. Give them a call at 261-5508, 261-5508. Visit them on the web at computerdoctortucson.com. Computer Doctor of Tucson, because technology is great when it works.
Welcome back to the Computer Doctor Show, your source for scam awareness, science, and cutting-edge technology talk. I'm Aaron Moss, your host, along with Rob, co-hosting today from the Unscrewed Theater. Staggering statistic in the fight of illegal robocalls. The cost of the United States costs the United States $13.5 billion every year due to robocalls. The FCC is collecting tracing data from all the phone companies to establish rules of service providers for incoming international calls, because that's a lot of where these robocalls are coming in from. They're coming in from international lines, especially calls that are routed to 911 call centers. So we'll keep you updated on that effort.
I lived in the Virgin Islands for a little while, and I know that a while ago their area code, I think it's 808, was a common one for those calls to come from.
Wow. Okay. And then ultimately, there's some poor person on the other end of the line that have no idea that their phone number is being used in this regard. Also, President Biden officially designating October as Cybersecurity Awareness Month, a time for the public and private sectors to work together to continue raising awareness about the importance of cybersecurity and equip the public with the resources they need to be safer and more secure online.
Pro tip, since pet names are common security words, make sure all your pet names are at least 14 characters long, have one uppercase letter, one lowercase letter, one number, and one special character.
Oh, absolutely. Okay, it is time now for some tech and science anniversaries. I think we do have a caller on line one. Caller, are you there?
I'm here.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can. This is April Madison from KGUN 9.
All right.
All right.
You got it.
All right.
How are you guys?
Great, great. To what do we owe this honor?
Well, marking an anniversary with the National Weather Service Tucson office. Actually, a couple of anniversaries happening in the next couple of days. And so I was doing a little bit of research, and today marks, this month marks 130 years, actually, with the Tucson office, National Weather Service. And there's actually some data behind that, actually, because it dates back even further to 146 years if you go back to 1875. But then being established at the University of Arizona in 1895, it closed 4 years later, and it went through several different municipals, and then was relocated again at the University of Arizona campus in February of 1997. So, but if you go from its original date of October of 1891, then yesterday being October 1st would have marked 130 years. So that's kind of cool. We've got that anniversary for this month, and then we've also got NOAA, which is, I think, 50 years old as of tomorrow. I think I was seeing the data on that. October 3rd, I believe, marks the 50 years for NOAA, which is the National Oceanic Atmospheric Administration, also a National Weather Service anniversary there.
That's
so
right. They did have this this special communication. I think like one created the other, or one was like an offshoot of the other.
That's correct. So, like 151 years ago, if you date back, February 9th was the official National Weather Service itself going into operation. That's overall, not just the Tucson office. And so then that NOAA was actually established through them several years later, and they're all encompassing. But, NOAA is specific to the Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. And so I had forgotten about that till I started thinking about anniversaries, and actually tomorrow marks their 50 year. So another cool anniversary on October 3rd. So wanted to call in and just kind of mention that. Coming off of a third West record monsoon, we've got a lot to celebrate over the next couple of days.
Yeah, we're doing the rain dance down here too. Yeah, monsoons was crazy this year, and it's nice that the weather I heard a interesting anecdote from a former president that the National Weather Service, you never hear about them in the news, but they, it's one of those things that gets taken for granted. There's usually no actors in that department. There's usually nobody that's doing anything strange in that department. So it's one of those stable systems that are out there.
Right.
Hey, thank you so much.
I think people just forget about, where we actually collect all that data. But our jobs would be a lot harder without them. So that's for sure. And you're welcome. It was my pleasure to call in. I'm always happy to talk weather.
Okay. Thank you so much, April, for calling in. We'll talk to you next time.
You bet.
And,
Sounds good.
And also, September 30th, 1929, the first live TV broadcast was 92 years ago. Also, the October 1st.
Which means it's 92 light years from Earth now, so you can figure out which star systems could be watching it.
That's right. Maybe other star systems. Yeah, you're right. 92 light years. Very good. Very good. Also, the first compact disc was released 39 years ago, October 1st, 1982. And also October 2nd, that would be today, Logitech was founded. So our mouse, keyboards, and webcams, some of those were some of the best. I use Logitech all the time. I use them for webcams and for mouses.
I have a wireless mouse, keyboard, and webcam in my home office.
Logitech?
Yep, Logitech.
Oh, wow. Logitech. Hats off to the Logitech people. Now, with the time that we have remaining, there was a very interesting very interesting sign that was put outside of a local car wash in upstate New York. The sign reads this way: "We no longer wash Teslas." So Tesla car owners manual states, "Caution, if washing an automatic car wash, use touchless car wash only. These car washes have no moving brushes that touch the surface of your Teslas. Using any other type of car wash would cause damage that is not covered by the manufacturer warranty." Now, this comes from, we know about the Tesla cars. They're highly advanced. They have all these computer chips in them. Everything is computerized on these cars. Okay, so when you take it to a car wash and you have those brushes that are wiping and scratching and slapping in your car side to side, up and down, and all that. So with all that action, it does. There's been reports, not just on Teslas, but on other electronic cars. I think Hyundai also reported that it sometimes will misalign some of the cameras and sensors. So, and you know what happens when you misalign a camera on a car. Okay, now when it looks for the lines to stay for the automatic driving and stuff, it's going to not notice, these lines anymore, and now you're having a car that's veering off left and right.
The camera's just pointing slightly the wrong direction, you're suddenly halfway into the lane and the car thinks it's perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't want to mess around with camera alignment. Also, Tesla models have automatic water detection. So when we think about the water detection on these systems, so like when it starts raining, it automatically turns on your wipers. So what happens when you drive it into a car wash? Wipers start going crazy, but you want to shut those off.
Do they have something like that? I was just curious. They also say, "Oh, it's raining. I better start braking sooner." If those ones have automatic brakes, because they know it's going to be longer braking distance. So
these Teslas, they're very, very smart. They have the ability to know when they're moving. So they don't really have a neutral. They have a thing called free rolling. So obviously, when you go into a car wash, it does need to be free rolling. The wipers need to be shut off. The windows need to be rolled up, and also the charge port needs to be locked closed, so that even if something touches it, it doesn't automatically open up that charge door. And there's been reports of bad things happening with that. So
I always think about, you always have, every now and then on the Midwest, you have ice fisher people who go out on lakes and stuff, and when the car goes through the ice, it's like, if it detects water, does that mean it's going to roll up the windows and lock the doors so you can't possibly get out on you?
That's an excellent idea. But in the 2021 car wash for the Teslas, they actually have what's called the car wash mode. That's an update on the Model 3 and the Model Y for those Teslas. Anyway, before we wrap up, just want to thank our sponsor, Perfection Auto Works again. Stop by with their location near Speedway Craycroft for your free 26-point inspection. This was episode 64. My name is Aaron Moss, your host, technology expert. Co-hosting today is Rob. Tom Fairbanks is on the control board. We'll see you next week.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of The Computer Doctor Show. If you missed any part of this live broadcast, we post all our episodes online at computerdoctorshow.com. Remember, the world is getting more and more tech, and so should you. To stay current with technology, listen to The Computer Doctor Show each week for local and global tech insights. If you have suggestions for a topic on a future show, send us an email at info@computerdoctorshow.com.